Hi, let's take a quick look at all the new features of Caspio version 8.5. First feature introduces interactive editing in reports, which allows us to edit data in grid mode, similar to a spreadsheet. We can also bulk delete records, and we've added some enhancements to inline insert and edit. Second feature adds faster performance on reports using Ajax, allowing us to sort, page, and delete records without having to reload the web page. Last of the main features is FileStor CDN. This is Amazon's content delivery network that's used for fast and unmetered access to non-sensitive files and images. This release will also feature other smaller features and enhancements, and we'll cover those at the end of the video. Now let's take a closer look at each one of these new features. First, let's take a look at Grid Edit. When you enable Grid Edit, you'll now see a link at the top of your report that allows you to edit your data in grid mode. When you click inside Grid Edit, you'll now be able to select your records similar to a spreadsheet and make your changes. For example, as soon as you make a change and click inside another record, those updates will be changed automatically. We can also control the type of field element we'd like to enable, if it's a text field, drop-down, checkbox, and more. To exit Grid Edit mode, simply click on the exit at the top. To enable this feature inside Caspio, edit your report, click Next a few times until you see a brand new interactive screen that allows you to enable the checkbox for Grid Edit. If you click Finish at this point, you'll now see this link at the top of your report. Now let's take a look at Bulk Delete. When you enable Bulk Delete, you'll have the ability to delete multiple records all at once, or you can select one record at a time and click on Bulk Delete at the top. To enable this feature, go back to the same screen inside the Data Page Wizard and enable the checkbox for Bulk Delete. Now when you select your records, click on Bulk Delete at the top. You'll first be prompted if you wish to delete your records, and if you click Yes, you'll remove those specific records from the database. Now let's take a look at Enhanced Inline Edit and Insert. When you enable Inline Insert and Inline Edit, before you could only submit and edit with text fields. We now have the capability to change the form element on the fields and turn them into drop-downs, checkboxes, and other type of elements. To configure this in Caspio, first enable both Inline Insert and Inline Edit checkboxes. When done, click Next, and on the following screen you'll now notice an Editing tab right next to the Standard tab. Click on that tab and you'll find the option to either enable or disable field editing. If you disable, then the column will be read-only, but if you enable it, you'll be able to configure the form element and turn that field into any of the following options. If you click Finish at this point, you'll now be able to edit your records, change the data using a text field, drop-down, checkbox, or any other type of element that's enabled on that field. Now let's take a look at the second feature of this release, Ajax. Before Ajax was a feature, every time we clicked on Sort, Delete, or Page to the next set of records, you'd notice that the entire web page would reload. With Ajax enabled, the overall performance of the report is much faster. So when you sort, delete, or tab over to the next set of records, information re-renders using Ajax so the data page doesn't have to reload. To enable this feature inside Caspio, edit your report and click Next until you get to the Results Page Options screen. Here you'll see a checkbox to enable Ajax. If you click Finish at this point, you'll now be able to sort data, delete, and tab over to the next set of records much faster than before. The last feature of this release is FileStor CDN. Let's take a look. By enabling FileStor inside your account, you'll speed up the loading of your images and files, and you'll greatly reduce the amount of data transfer needs. Before we enable and demo the FileStor feature on these images, please note that this feature should only be enabled for non-sensitive files and images that are meant to be open to public. Let's go inside Caspio to see how we can configure the new FileStor CDN feature. Go to your All Assets container and under Files, create a new folder where you wish to store all submitted files and images. I have a folder called Contacts Images, and this folder contains all 6 images that are currently displayed on my report. At the moment, all 6 images are stored inside my Caspio account, but when you click on Enable File Store, a copy of each image is placed on Amazon's CloudFront CDN, and your application is automatically adjusted to serve those files and images for optimal performance. Once you bypass the warning message that notifies you to only enable this feature for public files and images, and depending on how many images you currently have inside that folder, it may take a few seconds for it to finish processing. Once File Store has been enabled, any image or file that gets submitted via a form in a report and is saved inside this folder, a copy of that image will be automatically pushed to Amazon's content delivery network. Amazon keeps cached versions of files on their global servers around the world, so your end users will always view files from the servers closest to them, resulting in much faster load times for everyone. Let's see how inside the Caspio report wizard we can select this folder to make sure our images are saved correctly. Go to your report and click Edit. Click Next until you get to Configure Details page. Select your file field and click on Browse to select the folder where you wish to save those images. In this case, we want our File Store enabled folder. Click Finish when done. Now when we go back to our report, and if we click on Details for John, let's upload John's image from our computer. Once the image is attached, let's go ahead and click on Update. This image, now that File Store has been enabled, is automatically copied and pushed to Amazon's content delivery network. The images that are shown in this report are now being pulled from Amazon's global servers as opposed to your Caspio database. If you want the images to be pulled from Caspio's database directly, then you'll need to go back to All Assets container and disable the File Store feature. This concludes all the main features of this release. Let's take a look at some other smaller enhancements that are also part of this update. The 8.5 release will include a new application parameter called long text that can now store up to 64,000 characters in plain text or HTML. We've also made the HTML editor available in both the authentication screens and HTML data pages. You'll now be able to attach files to automatic emails. These files can be attached from tables, file section, or your computer. You'll also be able to embed images inside the body of the outgoing emails. And lastly, as part of a bigger release later this year, we've introduced account subdomains that allow us to assign unique Caspio.com subdomains to all the deploy codes. For more detailed information on all the features shown in this video, please visit howto.caspio.com. Thanks for watching, and we hope you enjoyed the latest features and enhancements.